Today we're going to try painting a tree with snow on it. I have had mixed results painting these. I don't always like what I make, but I think it's fun to try and it's good to just keep practicing. So the tree is going to be a similar shape to this one over here, but instead of these lighter colors on the branches, it's going to be, we're going to keep it white for snow. And I'm going to do it really small and just, maybe it's just the top of the tree. So I'm making a line for the trunk just to show where the middle is. And then with my pencil, I'm just going to draw a few branches going out, and they're going to get progressively longer as I go. And some of them can be directly across from each other. Some can be staggered. Doesn't really matter. Just think of them as the branches are getting longer and kind of thicker as we get down the tree. And then I'm gonna draw on top of these branches. I'm just gonna make it a little bit thicker and just a little bit lumpy. And you don't have to draw this part. I think it kind of helps me. I'm drawing the snow. I'm drawing the place that's going to stay white for the snow. And maybe the snow lumps are thicker in some places and thinner in others. They're probably pretty thick by the base of the tree, by the trunk. But maybe they lump up because there's other branches under there. You can decide. So the colors we need are kind of a dark brown for the trunk and for the shadows. We need a dark green, and we need a very, very pale blue. That's what we're going to use for the snow. So the pale blue, I'm going to use this royal blue that I have, and I'm going to use a big brush actually. For this, my biggest brush, I'm just going to put a lot of water in one of these pots. And then I'm just going to dab in a little bit of this blue. There. I think I'll add a tiny bit of black to that too. And then that's it for that brush. And then let's make a dark green. I have a good dark brown over here. This is just brown and black mixed together, so I'm just re-wetting that. We don't need very much of it, but we do need some good green, and we're gonna use a really small brush for the green. It's gonna be just little bits of branches sticking out. I'm gonna use this emerald green straight out of the palette, and then add some black and brown to it. Probably looks really dark to the camera, but I'll show you what it's like. Still, it's pretty dark, but it's good. We're just gonna do tiny little tree bristles with that. Okay, so I'm gonna start by doing the snow part, and that's this really pale blue. And I'm just gonna put it in real small amounts. I'm not gonna fill this whole snowy area in with it, just a little bit here and there. And then I'm gonna use some white with it after this blue dries. So just put little dabs of blue inside the snowy branch parts. I'm taking a little bit back off where it's real puddled, just by using a dry brush and lifting some of it off. Okay, well, we let that dry a little bit. I'm going to use the green, and starting at the top of my teeny brush, I'm going to make the top of the tree, oops, and work my way down. I'm going to try and avoid the snowy parts and just put this in to show where the trunk is. And we'll use the brown on, that dark brown black on here too. And then with this teeny brush, I'm just gonna start making some little sprigs sticking up from the top of the snow branches. I'm trying to only put them in places where I don't have that blue color. I don't want it to run and mix in with the blue or take away from the blue, but it's hard. I'm just doing the tops right now, and these are the teeniest little marks. If you have painted this bigger than I am, mine's only about, this is maybe a 3 inches of space here. If your space is bigger, then these bristles can be bigger. These are just the little needles that are poking through the snow. Or maybe there's no snow in a few places. Like the very tips. Also, I could have drawn these with the branches sagging a little bit more, and maybe next time I'll try that. Because the weight of the snow would probably be pushing these branches down quite a lot. So just keep going. Work your way all the way around the tree and get some sprigs sticking up at the top, because the bigger work is going to be under these branches to show the needles sticking down, because they're not covered by snow, so there are more needles for that. But I wanted to give most of that snow a good chance to dry. And then we go under. I'm covering up my pencil lines also as I go. I'm also trying to make the needles go in several directions. Some on the top are pointing straight up, some on the bottom are pointing straight down, and also kind of at an angle out towards the tip. And now that the blue is dry, I can add more along the top too in some places. put, I have a real dry brush. I'm gonna use this dark brown now and go down the tree trunk, just in the places where there's no branch. I already have green there, but I'm just gonna darken it up a little bit. And now with this clean dry brush again, I'm just gonna put a little more blue in a few places. Oops. I'm trying not to touch it to the green, but it happens. And if you've been doing these with me for very long, you know that it happens to me kind of a lot. But it's fine. We can fix it. Or leave it. Sometimes those little happy accidents are my favorite parts of the paintings. But I'm gonna stop there. Actually, that's not true. I need to put a couple here. Oops. I'm gonna stop now. And that's a snowy little tree.